Okay, we'll do an intro here once again. All right, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to our first game here at the group stages now on the secondary stream. We have Newbee versus Clutch Gamers coming at you. This is all best of one here in the round robins. Every team advances on to the next stage as well. However, of course, the bottom four will be in the losers bracket of the double elimination. The top four will be in the winners bracket. So they're playing to try to get that good positioning. Kicking things off, Newbee, Clutch Gamers. I am Bricky CPK and joined by Z-Rock here. Z-Rock, we finally got a game ahead of us.
Dude, I'm excited. It's been almost 2 months since you and I have cast, and I'm hyped for this.
We got some good games, too.
We do.
This is a big event here.
And for Clutch, this matters. They didn't make TI. So this is their next big tournament. Their way to kind of regain a little bit of composure, I guess, and say, hey, we're still a team. I think this is going to matter a lot in whether or not they stay together around the TI shuffle.
Southeast Asia, man, the other big-name team, of course, out of there that did not qualify, Faceless, announced earlier today that they have disbanded as a team, which I know shocked a lot of people, including myself. I mean, kind of. Well, I don't want to talk too much about that, but you know, that was definitely quite the statement being made. So I agree with you there, Clutch Gamers. You know, I'm hoping for their success, and honestly, I feel like this is still a younger team that has a lot of progress to make, so I hope they stay together. But it could be devastating, right, when you're so close to qualifying for such an epic event, and then you fall just short. I mean, they lost 2-1 to Execration there.
Yeah, and to be honest, the young thing can kind of hurt them because a lot of those players at that age struggle to place the blame on themselves or as a cumulative team thing, and they want to find fault in somebody. And anyway, let's talk about Dota here, man. We got a Night Stalker and a Wisp ban. We got a Sand King and a Nyx. So we're seeing a lot of off-lane or roaming 4 flex positions banned out here. It does leave the clockwork open for Clutch, though. Yeah. This hero's been picked or banned in almost every game of Dota in the last patch. Definitely curious to see how they use it. I'm going to assume roaming 4.
So Shadow Shaman as that first pick for Newbee in response. I got to cast a little bit of the Chinese region in the regional qualifiers right there. This hero is top-tier pick. I don't know what the deal is with just – and it's the only region, right? Like, no other regions we see Shadow Shaman really actively played in at all.
North America. They're first banning it. Yeah, almost the whole qualifier is getting first ban.
Wow. Okay, I actually didn't notice that then. Interesting. Well, point is, it's – okay, so a couple of regions then, China and now North America. But others, it's just not even heard of. I mean, we just don't even see the hero. So what's the deal? Why are we seeing Shadow Shaman, you think?
Here's the problem. If you run Shadow Shaman as a hard 5, he struggles. It's like running a Nyx as a hard 5 or something along those lines where, yeah, it can do stuff, but it's not great. But if you run him as either like a 4.5 or as your actual 4 position and just deal with not having a roamer, he can single-handedly be your win condition. The amount of pressure a level 3 Serpent Wards can put on a building late in the game can be the difference of can you break high ground or not.
Yeah.
So this means it opens Newbee up to bad building hitting lineups because they have a backup plan for that. So we're going to see stuff like Void. We can see more spellcasting type mid laners like Puck. And they know they still have a way to hit buildings in the end. So I've sang the praises of Shadow Shaman ever since the patch where he lost range and got a ton of damage. I think he's nuts.
I've always been a huge fan of the hero, so yeah, no, I agree with you there. I love seeing him. It's just, again, it's so fascinating to me that we have, I guess, 2 regions that just massively first ban, first pick him, and other 3 regions or so just don't even pay attention to him. But that's a great thing about this game as a whole. It's a very international game, and you definitely have your strategies throughout the regions, of course. So Faceless Void, the pickup here. You mentioned the idea of maybe a clockwork 4 position. That's what I'll lean towards as well. Faceless, on the other hand, this is a hero that could definitely be either the 1 or the 3 position, I feel like.
I'm going to say it's either carry or if it's a really good matchup for him, mid.
Mid, really?
Mid Void was a thing for a little while when it was very bursty mids. Because you'd eat their spell and then you'd time walk and the right clicks couldn't push you out if you had a poor man's. I saw one South American team did run it, but in reality, I would say it's going to be a carry, especially when coupled with that Phoenix. Do you see the trifecta? Does he go tree?
Oh, what? Wait, on Newbee side?
Yeah. Then you run mid Shadow Shaman, man.
Oh, geez, I would love that. That brings back really old school right there.
Polywog
No Tail coming at you. So yeah, Phoenix with the Treant though, of course, that for a bit there. Obviously, OG especially ran that at the Kiev Major and proved to be a very strong duo. I still think, even with the Keeper nerfs or the Treant nerfs, excuse me, a viable combo at that. But Yeah, that means Shadow Shaman would then end up as a core, and don't know if that's going to happen.
Probably not. Fly actually did say in a public post one time that he thought after they'd ate a few losses with just Phoenix, if he didn't have Phoenix and Tree, it was garbage. So definitely curious to see what Newbee does with this Phoenix. The Chrono will help. That'll work similar to how Overgrowth does, where it just locks some people out of hitting the egg.
Yeah.
It means Void won't have to get the best Chronos. He just hits the one person or two people that can bring down the egg, and then Phoenix just makes sure to get a good super out of it.
See, that's what I was thinking. That's kind of the ultimate idea, right, is that you kind of get that big combo off, if anything, when they're clumped up. So, that kind of exists still with this combo. And they go Bat Rider as their 4th pick, so that's going to be their off lane. Pretty much secures the Faceless as a 1, outside of maybe the mid option, as you pointed out. But, again, the more usual suspect would be that 1 position. I want to also touch on something real quickly right here before we get too much into this. The draft, by the way, you may have noticed, Clutch Gamers actually only had 1 minute of reserve time from the beginning here, where, of course, Newbee had the default 2.5 minutes. That's because they were actually penalized for some delays right here. So
I can't wait for the Reddit post. It's going to be interesting. Someone at the event's going to make a post about it. There's no way. But, yeah, we'll see. I mean, these are supposed to be lands, right? I don't get it. But, yeah, either way, Clutch is definitely on a timer. It's hard to draft without reserve time. You almost want them to use the other team's reserve time. Like, if I'm Newbee and knowing they don't have any, I'm almost jamming my picks.
Yeah.
Like, you just plan ahead and just snap pick them so that Clutch doesn't have time to think.
Force the issue, yeah. Shadow Fiend is going to be their 4th pick themselves, so that's, again, very likely their mid-option with the Coddle, the Bristle, and the Clockwork. Coddle, Bristle, I feel like it's actually been a little bit since we've seen that. We saw a lot of Bristle, of course, at the regional qualifiers, but Coddle as a partner, honestly, at least, again, in the matches I was covering, we really weren't seeing him at all being picked up.
Yeah. Well, Night Stalker was also super popular back then. So it was basically, if you picked Coddle without banning Night Stalker, you just got Night Stalker and everything was sad. So maybe that was part of it, and Coddle doesn't really offer you a whole lot of control. He wants to just push people out with the Illuminate and make their life just miserable through mana leak, but if they don't get a lead in their lane, that's very underwhelming.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, this looks rough for Clutch here. Like, Shadow Fiend is a super gankable mid laner. You have Rasta that can come in and just grip him. I just want to see some sort of bursty mid out of Newbee here. Quap looks fantastic. She did receive some nerfs. But, yeah, Quap or Puck both just look awesome right now.
Another hero that's not even touched, but again, China didn't really pay attention to her as Lina. We do not see her picked or banned yet, but every other region it was very relevant.
Lina got touched. Lina got nerfed pretty hard.
Was it a hard nerf? So what did he get? Dragon Slave?
Dragon Slave lost 25 damage at level 1. That was your primary harass tool. You'd use it to get a CS and poke the mid laner down, and it set you up to pressure them at level 3. And so, yeah, that lost a good chunk of damage there. And then, yeah, they're a little less of a Gatling gun at 25.
Yeah, that is true. She definitely got some nerfs, so we'll see how that develops a hero moving forward right here. But, again, going back to China, though, actually even before those nerfs happened, really just wasn't picking her up or prioritizing her at all, so unlike others.
Which is weird, because, like, China was the one that clung to Quap after she fell out of favor and played Quap for months and months after every other region had said, nope, not good anymore.
Yeah.
And they would just farm with it. It'd be like 6-7 item Quap. And that's how people are playing Lina. You go Rice to a Bloodstone, then you farm for another 2-3 items. So it's odd that it just didn't mesh with them in the same way. But yeah, just a little regional flair there, I guess.
We are on a pause, by the way, I assume. Yeah, so one player's reconnecting here. So it's always, when you kind of get caught up in conversation, you're just like, God, this draft is taking forever all of a sudden. And no, we are actually paused.
I'm just, are the admins saying anything? Because it's Clutch's captain.
Yeah, again, it being the land, we don't know the exact details of what's going on. They do ban Quap, though, so there you go with that insight there. And ooh, they picked a safe lane Venno, I assume that's going to be?
Yeah, I would imagine so. To me, it just screams Puck here. You're a little weak to BKBs, but it just seems so good. It gives you consistent wave clear that can push aggressively once Puck's at like 2 items.
10 seconds remaining.
And you really want to have those lanes pushed up when you have a Shadow Shaman. Okay, a little slower option, but it works.
Invoker's a little more physical threat, too, I feel like. And that was going to be the one thing I was going to bring up when you mentioned the Puck was maybe they would want a little more of that. I mean, obviously, they have Faceless, but that'd be heavy magic if they went just the Puck. Invoker's a lot of magic, though, at the same time.
You didn't see a wheel rack while whistling's puck. He went a Radiance.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, he right clicked hard with that thing.
The 420 GPM talent.
Oh yeah, he was so far. But alas, they did fall short.
Yeah, that's another story.
All right, so Invoker. This is interesting because normally when we see Invoker, it's paired with an offlaner that has some type of setup for him, either a Clockwork or a Nyx or something along those lines. Their only setup for Sunstrike in this game, other than Lasso at level 6, is going to be Rasta. So I'm really curious to see how they use this. If the Rasta is going to look for an early smoke somewhere and try to connect with a, like, say, a level 5 Invoker Sunstrike. That's what I'm thinking you're going to want to look out for in the laning phase.
And it just kind of hit me, too. God, these levels, by the way. Freaking Moogie right there, 2273. We're going to see an SCCC Invoker. He is a fun player to watch on this hero. MDL is kind of fun that I'm getting to cast this event here because MDL was actually technically the first bigger event that I actually cast when I first jumped into the Dota 2 scene. A little less than a year ago now. It's about 9 or 10 months ago now. I first started becoming a caster here. So, ooh, 300 ping. That's not good. How are they getting a 300 ping? Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, the tech issues may continue. But what my story there was, one of the players that really stood out to me, because Newbee was also in that event, was SECC, as I like to call him, Sick. And he played quite a bit of Invoker in that tournament specifically, and it was just so entertaining to watch. Him in Dogfights was another player that really stood out to me on IG Vitality.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Triple C just does some weird stuff. Like, he'll grab weird item pickups. He really thinks and tries to adapt to the game. Sometimes it's a little too out of the box, but for the most part, he's just really exciting. He likes to make plays. He likes to be the guy going in and making the impact on his team.
All right, so we obviously we do have the Shadow Fiend Clockwork combo.
Just run through all the lineups while we're sitting here paused?
Sure.
For anyone just listening?
Why not? Let's go ahead and do that here. I'll do the Radiant side. We got Faith playing the Rasta, also known as the Shadow Shaman. We got SCCC Sick on the Invoker, Moogie on the Faceless Void, Phoenix in the hands of Kaka, and KP on the Bat Rider as the offlane, of course. The Aussie on the old Chinese team.
The Aussie, indeed. All right, and over on the side of Clutch Gamers, we've got Fly Solo on Keeper of the Light, Armel on Shadow Fiend, Rappy on Bristleback, Gabby on Venomancer, and Boombax on the Clockwork. And yeah, they are going to get the cogs here, but I'm really curious to see, like, if any team's smart enough to punish them, I would imagine it's going to be Newbee.
Yeah.
Where they're either going to go for, at the very minimum, the triple bounty earn. Best case scenario, I've seen teams just smoke 5 people over to here, and you just kill the Shadow Fiend when he comes for his run. That's by far the best counter I've seen to it.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree with you, and yeah, glad you're bringing that up, because I was going to if you didn't. It's just seeing teams going up against a Clockwork Shadow Fiend that don't actually look to play aggressive into it is almost frustrating at a point, because at this tier, at this level of play, I feel like you really should be comfortable in knowing that and thus reacting to it as a result. So, yeah, we'll see if Newbee is up for the challenge or not, but...
I mean, it's almost a meta inside a meta, right? Because when it first started, it was, like, broken. No one would gank the SF. He had all these souls coming into lane. It was nuts. And then everyone started playing aggressive, and once everyone gets to that point where they're either smoking the Shadow Fiend at level 2, or they're just trying to kill him right when he goes for his bounty, then I can see Shadow Fiends maybe just grabbing 1 set of cogs, or 2. You know, something that lets him get in position a lot faster, but still get some sort of lane advantage. I'm just curious to watch this whole thing unfold, because it is almost a meta inside a meta.
Yeah. So do you think that Shadow Fiend, especially with the cog trick right here, say that no gank happens, you know, we start 0-0, whatever, in the middle lane, is Shadow Fiend set to win that lane matchup against the Invoker?
Oh, yeah, hands down. At the very least for the first, like, 3-4 levels. Invoker just doesn't have enough tools. He's almost going to be forced to go a point in Wex at level 2 just so he can get Alacrity up and at least try to last it against Armel's Shadow Fiend. If he doesn't do that, he should easily be down 15 CS by, like, level 3, level 4.
Yeah.
Between the last hits and the denies. It's going to be so rough for him. His base damage just doesn't quite measure up. Animation's worse. It's just rough. So the real thing, though, I mean, we got to watch out for roams, though. If the clock manages to connect on Invoker, disaster. It could be super bad, but on the same side, all it takes is one shackle from Rasta and Shadowfiend dies too.
Yep, definitely plenty of gank on really either side. Well, definitely more on the Radiant side. I mean, Clockwork's really the only big target, of course, on the Dire as far as having that gank presence here. If you're the Radiant here in Newbee, you're not really too concerned about aggressive ganks coming out. And I don't know about you as well, but Safe Lane Venomancer has felt a little underwhelming to me. And maybe that's because I was watching a bit of Complexity run at the NA qualifiers, and it didn't really do that well. So I'm not going to lie, that's probably a little bit of a biased opinion, but how do you feel about it?
I think it's really good as long as it zones the offlaner and then goes a carry build. I don't like caster carry Veno. I think like the Veil Force Staff is not a good build, especially with the new cost increase on Veil. I like to see just Treads Aquila, maybe a Drums or a Helm of Dom, and then you're going like Mjolnir, and then Blink, and you just burn everything down with your dots. That's the build I like to see. It can do really well as that almost Clinks-like mid-game carry, especially right when he hits that level 20 mark. That's where he can just explode. If he has enough attack speed, it's nuts. But I'm with you. The way like Complexity and most of North America honestly ran it, I'm not a big fan of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, Veno was. I'm looking at the regional qualifiers, just all the regions combined, and Veno was actually like 10th, I want to say, as far as picked throughout the regions, and he had a 46% win percentage. I mean, it's not horrendous, but it's obviously a little less than win, and obviously there might have been a couple of those games where he's even mid, if not a support jungler. So, but I think Safe Lane Veno is what you'd almost expect when you see it nowadays, at least in this last month here.
2 years ago, when CDEC had their run through TI. They always played Gyro as their carry, and as soon as you'd hit level 6, they would port the carry Gyro to another lane and just gank with the ult right away. If there was a team like that was looking for a carry to replace that Gyro, Veno almost seems to fit that bill so well. He could just hit 6, have a little bit extra mana through an Aquila or Treads on Int or something, and just port to a lane and Gale ult, and really do almost the same role that a level 6 Gyro used to do. And I'm surprised we don't see more teams using that Veno as almost a roaming carry.
Yeah.
Because Shadowfiend will gladly eat whatever farm Veno doesn't take.
Oh, yeah.
He'll nuke out mid, go eat the jungle, go farm the safe lane. He'll take whatever's left over.
Yeah, and Poison Nova dots in general are just going to be that much more powerful the earlier on you get them off in game. So, yeah, getting that big ulti off could be important here. So, obviously the players have reconnected, but again, guys, being a LAN event, we really we're casting, of course, off-site here, so we have no information, unfortunately, to work with right now. So we're just as in the dark as you guys are. I am keeping an eye on the other match, though, as watching looking at the score at least, and some interesting stuff going on there. Freaking OG doing their Arc Warden strat in the hands of No-Tail. You have Jerax actually playing a Winter Wyvern as well, and they got Shadow Shaman themselves, so that's a fun strategy on their side. Going up against the EG Drow strat with Arteezy playing it.
So, okay, they have to be in player rooms for the hotels or something, because they're not knowing what each other's doing right now.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense then. Yeah, for the group stages especially, that makes more sense as to them not actually being on a main stage of sorts. I assume that's going to be safe for the playoff stage, which is, again, in a couple days from now. These next 2 days here are going to be, right, July 7th? Yeah, that would be a couple days from now.
Yeah, we're going to have so much Dota then. We're going to have the pre-tournament and then this, and also basically be running 24 hours.
And then into that TI event.
Well, then into Dream League, then into TI. Yeah, we're getting there.
Almost there. The applauses.
Man, it's so exciting.
Armel was a fun mid player to watch. That was a name that I personally didn't really know. Again, going into the regional qualifiers, I knew of Clutch Gamers, especially in the success that they started to have, but I really hadn't looked too much into them, of course. But after watching the regional qualifiers, I was very impressed with his play coming out from their team. So looking forward to seeing him on the Shadowfiend Day this game.
Honestly, I think a lot of people were disappointed to not see Clutch make TI. They'd kind of been the Southeast Asian Slayers for a long time. I know I had them on my prediction list to take the third slot, the one that Execration got.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Execration was definitely not expected. If anything, I would have, the way things planned out, of course, Faceless, who ended up coming short, but Mineski even. I mean, Mineski was even looking pretty solid in that event. Of course, with Mushi, Mag and Arc, some CIS players joining over in the Southeast Asian region, coming over and making impact. So they were actually fun to watch and definitely had their impact there. But, again, not enough in the end, despite having 3 qualifier spots. We knew that, though, going in. It was going to be a very, very tough qualifier.
Yeah, other than pretty much feeling like TNC was probably going to get through, I had no clue.
Yeah. Yeah, TNC was the only absolute fiasco.
They did look pretty good, not going to lie.
Yeah, they looked very good. Their only loss was actually to Clutch Gamers, now that you mention that.
Nice, we get to play Dota.
Finally, hopefully. Cross the fingers, knock on wood, we'll do whatever you have to do to play some Dota. All right. They're moving around, dealing with the ping. Seems like that's settled. Cog's going to be coming up. Here we go. But the denies. Ideally, you want to get around 12 to 15 mark.
Man, I mean, Clutch got out of their base before Newbee did. These wards came down so fast from Fly Solo, and they're in great positions. These are about the best wards you could have. It's going to see Shadow Shaman if he wants to rotate. It's going to show anyone looking to go on mid, and give high ground vision for the Shadow Fiend. That's a really nice pair of wards to get down totally undetected.
And Newbee's not playing aggressive. They're not even remotely trying. I mean, to be fair, if they went to this bottom side like you were talking about earlier, as far as the boundary over there, they would have been seen and probably would have been held off, or something else would have happened. So,
to be fair, they have arguably one of the worst level 1s I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
You have Faceless Void, who doesn't want to skill till he knows if he's going to be the one getting gone on. If he takes Time Walk, he's pretty useless. Invoker only has level 1 Sunstrike. Phoenix doesn't do much at 1. Batrider does almost nothing. Like, they have 4 heroes that are just awful at level 1. It looks like they are going to go for one here on Gabby. Can't
dives
imagine.
In. Icarus dive. No Time Walk, but that really helped right here. Shackle's coming out. Hasn't leveled anything just yet on Moogie. Playing the Faceless Void. Gabby's in trouble, though. Camarada attacks. There's the Time Walk, and one more needed. First blood in favor of Moogie. Playing the Faceless Void. An aggressive Faceless Void lane going to be happening, it seems like, and that caught Venom off guard.
I mean, I absolutely would just leave Void here at this point. The Venomancer took Gale, so his level 1 pressure is so bad now. Like, he wanted Poison Sting or he wanted wards, but more than likely he wanted Poison Sting at 1. This is just way too expensive of a skill.
Oh.
1 courier down, going for 2, going for 2.
Yeah, on the other side, yep. Tower goes down. Kaka, though, oh boy, that tier 2 tower is going to die to the creeps here. I guess, when you're that deep, even that nerf that happened, recent patch, not really recent patch, but you get the point, it's still worth it.
Look at Faith mid too, just manning up.
Fly Solo, he's dead. Faith credit for the kill, actually, and this is that roaming Rasta. It talked about the ganking presence is going to be huge here, and we're starting right off the bat. Weak level 1 for the most part, but they're making it work, man.
That was great. He saw the Kato kill the courier and knew he was going to go harass SCC, so he just walked up and started right-clicking the Kato. And you don't beat a Rasta. 74 damage, Reiki.
It's insane. It's very good. And they're going to keep this going. Another smoke being activated right here. They're going to wrap around.
This would be a huge kill.
Get Shadow Fiend. Obviously hurt those souls as a result. The Icarus dive in. Goes a little far right there, but Shackle's going to come out, and you can't stop this. Like, there's nothing that you can do for Shadow Fiend, obviously. There's no support nearby.
There goes your whole COGS advantage, basically.
Yeah, this is Newbee making a statement here early on. They came to play, and they are just running at Clutch Gamers in the very early game. And, yeah, you kind of wonder how these lanes have also kind of thrown things off a little bit for Clutch, too, because Clutch is doing what the standard. They're running the off-lane Bristle with the Kato, of course, Shadow Fiend mid, but obviously Newbee went with the Batrider short, and then he had the aggressive trialing to start initially. Now middle lane, Invoker goes down. Wow, well played by Armel there. Able to land the double raise.
Okay.
Well, that helps.
Yeah, I mean, that just shouldn't happen. Invoker died with a salvage inventory.
Meanwhile, Moogie's still getting kills at the top lane. He definitely has to thank, once again, Rasta for that other Ether Shock picked up, and even level 1 does plenty of damage, so just runs down the clockwork. And obviously Venomancer, what is he to do? Other than Venomous Gale, he's got nothing.
Yeah, and they really don't want to pull this Coddle off the bot lane. This is designed to be a duo that pressures really hard. And great choice from Newbee to aggro, because Phoenix has 0 base armor, Rasta only has 2. Like, Coddle Bristle would have ripped this lane apart.
Love how Kaka's just sitting here in the middle lane, just spamming that Sun Ray on a Shadow Fiend. Harassing the hell out of him. SCCC pushes up. Alacrity is on point. Fly Solo runs in, though, and comes through with the Chakra Magic. Gonna box out the Phoenix, if anything. But now Phoenix instead will go to the top lane and look to see about maybe taking another kill up here onto Boombox if he's not careful. Playing the clockwork. So, yeah, Coddle has rotated, just as you're talking about. I mean, is it really something you want to be doing? But Clutch kind of has to, it almost feels like.
Yeah, they really do. It does leave the Bristle a little bit vulnerable, though, because normal Quill stack time takes way too long to actually kill the Bat Rider. So he has to be a little careful here that the Bat doesn't get 4 or 5 stacks and just go on him.
Ooh. Middle lane, Boombox running at Invoker, but of course he's too quick for that. Even Phoenix TP's in right there just in case, but only level 2 Clockwork, can't get close enough despite having the Windlace and Boots. Invoker positioning himself appropriately and is able to run away. So well played right there. But yeah, bottom lane, you look at how it's going. Bat Rider 19-1, Bristleback 15-1. So obviously, you know, Bristle's doing just fine down here. But how long is that going to last? And are they really going to be able to set up good farm for Veno at the top lane, who's 14-3 right now against a 23-11 Faceless Void? And oh, by the way, he's died once.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. They weren't shutting the Bat Rider down even with the Coddle down here. So they just had to do what they had to do here. Try to make your safe lane okay.
It just keeps this Rasta man MVP. I swear he's just all over. He's 2-0-3. He has been involved in every single of these 5 kills at 4.5 minutes. And in another case, he just finds a Clockwork, locks him down long enough. The Cold Snap Alacrity comes out from Sick, and easy kill in the end. So Newbee just really on point with these rotations here.
And I am totally okay with him maxing Shackles first this game. The only break they have is Clockwork.
That's a good point, yeah. That lack of crowd control on Clutch Gamers is a little bit disturbing now that you mentioned that.
Have you ever seen how much damage Shackles does? Just highlight that skill for a second. It's nuts.
Oh my god, wow, you're right. I would not have expected that. 200.
Yeah, I've killed someone from like a 3rd health with level 4 Shackles.
Yeah.
It's like almost 400 damage.
Get the full duration off. Yeah, you always think about that ability just simply for the crowd control effect, but you're right. I mean, that actually is a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is why the pros max it over Hex. Bottom lane, though, this is what I was talking about. The Bristle's in deep trouble.
God, he just burned. That was, I want to say, 5 or 6 stacks of that sticky napalm right there. Middle lane now. Coddle is kind of just running into them, and he's going to end up going down as a result. Sloppy play, honestly. Coming out from Clutch. Now, maybe this was the plan. Boombox comes in, but he can't do enough.
That's what he was going for.
Okay.
It was definitely not worth his life, but he did know the ward was there and kind of just all in to kill it.
Yeah. Not worth it, giving up even more momentum to this Radiant side, especially on this Invoker. We mentioned SCCC playing it, and a fun Invoker to watch. He's currently only 4th in the game in net worth, though. Obviously, the top belongs to Faceless. Shadow Fiend is doing work, even with the death earlier on. Of course, he had the counter kill onto Invoker. He's kind of the shining star, as Armel tends to be, but another dire courier killed, and that's with the Wraith Band and the Ring of Protection. So Ring of Aquila was in the process of being made there, and that's going to be stopped for another 2.5 minutes or so. And actually, middle lane, Armel's in trouble again. Bat Rider running in, level 6 lasso. Yep, he gets close enough. Here comes Clockwork, but can he really do enough? Cog's going to push back a little bit, but it's not going to be enough in the end. The burn is too real. The final auto attack gets off from Invoker, and Bat Rider just flies right over the ledge to survive. Barely survives, but survive he does. Newbee is just on fire, and this could be a quick one at this rate.
Man, what a game. I mean, this is looking rough on the side of Clutch.
You got Shadow Fiend now, just as I was mentioning that at least he's doing all right. Not so much anymore, though, again. And I guess that wasn't his Ring of Aquila. Whose was that? That was Veno's?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what that courier even died. I was trying to find it.
2 courier kills, though. Like, the courier's been dead longer than they've had it up. And yeah, top lane, Chronosphere. That's a level 7 now, Faceless Void, and that tied in with a Sunray coming out from Phoenix. Easy kill on Veno. I think this all kind of goes back to, almost in hindsight a little bit, but the lack of crowd control is really hurting.
I mean, I said they were getting wrecked in the draft. As soon as they had to pick that Shadow Fiend, I got nervous. They wanted something that could hit the egg, but they couldn't even make their lanes okay after that pick.
Yeah. And now you have Rasta, in a sense, almost playing like a solo bottom lane. Now they're going to take advantage of this, kind of run at him. But, uh-oh, the bait is real. The shackles come out, the cogs. It's not going to save the Bristleback as the fire will start burning him down. In fact, Clockwork also needs to be careful. Rappy, Sunstrike, he runs into it. Sick with the 6 Sunstrike indeed, and down he goes. Faith actually was killed in the end, by the way, but the counter kill is successful.
It's sad that's almost an even gold trade, though, at this point. What's supposed to be the 5 support Rasta, I guess it's more of a 4 on this team. But this is what I'm talking about. Rasta's going to be level 6 here at like 9 minutes. He's going to be such a push threat.
And this Clockwork's dead again. Oh, the push onto the ledge. Oh, no.
Beautiful.
Shackle, Sunstrike. These arcane boots for Shadow Shaman. And he's almost level 6. A couple of creep kills or 1 hero kill. He'll be level 6 here as well. On the top lane, what can Coddle do? He's just gonna like, oh, Illuminate, be scared, guys. I mean, Phoenix almost dies as a result, but they kill Venomancer there, and now Phoenix is just gonna man up. He actually gets denied by Moogie. What on earth? Got denied in the midst of that. That's Venomancer for you, the deny.
Oh, man. Newbee just styling here left and right. Killing couriers, easy chrono kills. This is just nuts.
Batrider picking up the drums already to go with the Trinko boots. You have Invoker picking up the Midas on top of that, and he's actually just going to go right into a 4 staff here, looks like.
I mean, that's a fast Midas on Invoker. 9 minutes with double null raindrop? That's actually insane.
Yeah. Coddle, Bristleback, they're running for their lives once again. KP ports in, drums popped. Looks to land the W, the flame break, and that he does. Shackles, meanwhile, on a Bristleback. The Sunstrike coming out. It'll land on both even. Spreads the damage. Coddle goes down, and Bristleback's going to fall to the wars. His back is turned, actually, so he's been living a little bit longer, but, oh, he lives in the end. And Shadow Shaman just kind of walks away. He's like, yeah, no, that totally worked as planned. Top lane, Boombox goes down. Oh, boy, Clutch. Yeah, I'm not feeling too good for them anymore, Z-Rock.
GG, go next. Honestly, just styling left and right here. The wards I was so confused about, and I'm like, oh yeah, still has lasso up. Didn't even need to use it. This is just a disaster. Every tool that Newbee has is getting at least 1 kill.
Courier again. Don't die again. Come on, I just feel bad at this point. It's going to live, but having to really maneuver that courier. Keep it alive.
Nice! Moogie going Mask of Madness. That's what I want to see. We do see a smoke, though, from CG in the bot side. They're trying to make something happen here.
Rappy's like, save me! And now KP's just going to go the other direction. So that's smoke all for naught, unfortunately. Comes up short. And, I mean, I get what the Clutch is going for, of course, that they're kind of desperate to just make some plays. And that would have been nice. You know, you take on the Batrider, transition to a tower push maybe, but they don't get the kill. They're going to try to pressure the tower enough.
Yeah, so... I mean, this is just super well done from Newbee and just dodging that Coddle Bristle lane. They threw back down there, somehow even found farm in this, and that just can't happen. But the Coddle Bristle is just falling entirely flat. It runs around the map, but it's not scary right now. It's getting killed left and right.
Yeah.
And if that's not winning your lane, if that's not a tempo play for you, then the entire draft is off.
So Venom almost has that Veil that you're talking about. Of course, Poison Nova ready to go. I feel like if you're Clutch Gamers here, you get that Veil. What is Shadow Fiend going for? He's going the Shadow Blade. Okay, that's what I was going to say. That or even like a Blink, and just try to go for some big wombo combo, right? And like try to come back that way maybe, because right now just sitting back trying to farm, it doesn't feel like it's going to work, and you're just so far behind that you need to try to take advantage of that wombo combo potential that you maybe have.
Do you just expect Newbee to like stack his 5 on top of an Invis Shadow?
Trying to be positive here.
Keep him there.
You are
like,
right.
There's zero reason that any more than one person from Newbee gets Requiem.
Oh no, is this a solo kill? There's that Mask of Madness with the Chronosphere and a Sunstrike just for good measure. I think without that he might have still had it, but SCCC wants that farm.
Invoker gets every kill. They're all his.
Yeah. He's 5, 1, and 6 already.
And this one caster's struggling to stay connected.
I've noticed that.
Or Bloody Massacre.
I keep thinking that it's like one of the players almost. Like, oh crap, that sucks, but not just one of the casters. Well, credit to Clutch here. I mean, they're doing some nice stacks of the Ancients. They've been actually prioritizing that. They had at least a double, if not a triple, at the bottom. You got a triple now being done by Venno here. So they're kind of trying to, you know, they're recovering a little bit here, but again,
they're not a play from behind lineup, though. They can't.
Icarus dive in, keeps his distance. Sunray, you see Gabby just melting to the Sunray. Kaka's gonna get picked off, a little ambitious there. Rappy goes down to the bottom lane meanwhile, though, so it ends up kind of being a 1-for-1 trade of sorts.
They pulled Bristle up to the ward spot and just let him burn. They just ran one Firefly over it and just started stacking napalm. It's so mean.
Yeah. Invoker going to the Force Staff, by the way. Let's talk about that for a second, because that's not your typical follow-up, of course, but is that because of the game?
The only way he should die in this game is if he gets hooked in Cogs, then everyone goes on him. So if he can get out of Cogs, he basically just shouldn't die. Generally, if one item answers an entire team, you just prioritize it. You get it first no matter what. That's like Lincoln's if LC is their only initiation, same concept.
Yeah.
Just rush it, no matter who you are. If you're a core, you just get the item.
Now you see right there, Rasta actually already gets its own too. Like, Force Staff is going to be the only little CC that they have is that Clockwork, and Force Staff you always get against Clockwork no matter what. So they already have a couple now at this game on both the Invoker and the Rasta. So even their crowd control, the little that they have, is basically nullified there as a result of the items. God, he hates to be so negative with Clutch Gamers here, but they've definitely stepped into a trap. It almost feels like that is Newbee in the opening match of the group stages, and they're feeling it down 17-3 already. But you do, again, I don't think this is indicative of what we're going to expect of them in this event. I think this is more of just the outdraft. Simply coming back to that.
And Clutch had PC issues. They got docked reserve time. They were probably under a little bit of mental pressure going into this.
Oh, we see them trying to push, do that group up that they're talking about, but their other lanes are being counter-pushed meanwhile. Gotta do something soon here.
Yeah, and how many lands have Clutch actually been to now? It hasn't been very many.
They were at
Epicenter
Epicenter
and Manila, right?
And Manila, they did not go to Summit, obviously, even though they qualified. Zodak? Were they at Zodak? Hookshot bottom lane. Shadow Shaman. This could be a big kill for Newbee. Again, he's worth a lot of gold, actually. They're going to get it.
Got him.
It's not a lot, but some.
Oh, it was a good chunk of gold. It was probably 500.
For a main support Rasta. It's not too shabby.
Yeah. 460 gold there.
So, again, successful kill, using that hook shot to its fullest, at least. Courier, runs right by the Phoenix. Now Phoenix gets pinged out. We haven't seen the Supernova activated yet by Phoenix. It's actually going over TP, but guess what? He's fine. He doesn't have anything to be worried about.
Close. He was almost there, but he couldn't quite make it in time. But yeah, if you're Newbee, you have no reason you can't go now. I'm not really sure what they're waiting on, but I mean, like, the last nail in the coffin would be if they get a pipe.
Yeah.
It mitigates so much of the damage on Clutch. Basically, the entire level 1 Poison Nova or an Illuminate. It's just nuts.
Yeah, it almost seems silly to me that, I guess not, because Phoenix is going the hand of Midas. Oh, they're beating out the Arcane Rune right here. Coddle's like, hey, free Arcane Rune. He runs right into a smoke gank. They add more than enough damage to secure that kill. So they get the Arcane, they kill him in the process. I was going with the Hand of Midas on Phoenix. I was saying maybe he could be that candidate, but wants Hand of Midas here, and it is obviously a good item on him in general.
Yeah, I'm curious if Faith will hold the wards here. He wants to use them before this Arcane Rune goes up. Getting wards down on Arcane Rune's sick. They're up in like a minute and 20 seconds afterwards.
True, 84, yeah. That's going to be a middle tower kill. No wards even needed there. Chronosphere is ready to go, though, so, yeah, again, even if you're Clutch.
There we go.
We're going to use it here. It's like, do you really feel comfortable taking a team 5? They know this is happening. I mean, they have the vision in the area. They 100% know they're running over, but, man, it's got to be so scary going into a Chronosphere ready.
It's their one chance, and the Shadow Fiend wasted his Shadow Blade.
Here we go, Clockwork in, they catch SCC, but the Force Stab over the ledge. Moogie with the Chronosphere, 4 heals right there. The Sunstruck on the solo Shadow Fiend. He takes a good chunk of damage. He survived for the time being, but the Supernova, it goes out from a distance. The burn, baby burn with the Sunray, as well as the Fireflight fire, and they are just melting. It's a massacre in favor. Okay, the Aegis was snatched by Rappy, but it's just going to be him now. I guess Coddle is back up now. Rappy. He is maybe going to survive because of that.
Yeah, Newbee's a little low, but all in all, Roche does fall technically in their favor. And that, I mean, that was as close to best case scenario other than Shadow Fiend's Shadowblade being down.
Yeah.
You got a lot of your big skills off, but you got 4-man chronoed into a 3-man supernova. Pretty hard to come back from that.
Thought Shadow Fiend actually had a chance of living right there, but again, the supernova then went off, and that was the end of it for him. So good combo indeed from Newbee, and that's what we were just talking about, though, going into that fight. It's like they kind of had to, and that really wasn't the worst-case scenario by any means, but, yeah, fighting into that Faceless with the Chrono ready and the farm that he has already, the Maelstrom to follow up the Mom, and another 1,400 gold saved up on top of that even, so.
Yeah, and not only just farm, it does a ton of damage. He can solo kill anybody except Bristle and Chrono right now. That is probably the strongest two-item opening that you can go.
Yeah, and you kind of chuckled a little bit at the Mask of Madness pickup, but I'm with you. I know it's considered maybe a little bit more of this pub stomp idea, but frankly, for a Faceless that's getting ahead, it seems like the obvious choice almost.
No, it's just fun to watch the meta come full circle. Like, a long time ago, this was the Void build. You'd always go Mom first, so...
Okay.
And then it went to Vlad's for a long time, it went to Dominator for a little while. But I'm glad to see our Mask of Madness Overlords coming back.
And he is going to go the Phil Mjolnir here as well. Ags finished on Invoker, of course. Boots of Travel queued up now.
Once he has the Mjolnir done, he does enough damage that at that point he could build full utility and still just truck out damage. So after Mjolnir, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Blink or an Ags. Something along those lines that just help him position Chronos a little better or get more of them off.
I still can't get over how much farm this Rasta has. He has another 1,500 gold with Arcane Boots and a Force Staff. Already finished, so hell, he could have a Blink coming up here if he really wants it.
Yeah. I want to see him go my pub build. Go Aether Lens Refresher.
Okay. Aether Lens is good on him. That's true.
It's just one of those things, right? That if you do ever, by some miracle, fall behind, you have a way just to end the game.
Yeah.
You can always get racks every time they're up, but in all honesty, when you're this far ahead, more defensive items are never bad. Maybe see a Lotus picked up on him or something. That's pretty bad this game, actually. Maybe he goes the pipe.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah. The pipe seems like a good option there. Lasso initiation, by the way. Bristleback going to be pulled right back into the ward, but he had his back turned the whole time, and yeah, it seems like the Radiance wants to retreat this. The hook shot lands, though, on Akaka, or that's KP, excuse me, so he's in some trouble with the Chronosphere now coming out. The Sunstrike will end on the clock, finishes the job of Bristleback. He's going to go down as well. That Chronosphere allows Faceless to just sit in front of him and smack his face in. You see back here, they're not done just yet. Poison Nova going off, though. Supernova in response, and this Venomancer likely going to die. Here comes the Requiem, the Flame Break initially, but the Requiem goes off. But so does the Supernova as expected. Venomancer going to be picked as the result. Coddle, he's going to end up dying throughout this, going to slowly burn down to his death. And now Shadow Fiend, the sole survivor. If he dies here, you might as well just say GG, honestly. He is going to go down indeed. And there's no buybacks across the board, and now a 15,000 almost net worth lead, and we're only 20 minutes into this game for Newbee.
Rough. I mean, I don't know what else to say. If you're clutch, you want to just take this game to mentally reset a little bit.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Just figure out what went wrong.
Draft.
I mean, yeah. They've got a break between this game and their next game, too. I don't think any team plays back-to-back in this. A couple of rounds later, they do. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, they got to just relax a bit. They had some tech issues. Draft was bad.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
SCCC, aka Sick, doing sick things. Killing the clock. I'm going to say that all throughout this event, by the way. I just love saying that. Sick doing sick things. What was it going to be? Oh, yeah, so speaking of the draft, too, I was kind of looking through the patch notes as well, and trying to see, I mean, was anything really, like, I mean, Bristleback obviously got a little bit of nerf there with the base damage being decreased by 4, which is a decent nerf, but that doesn't scream, oh, that's why, you know, this isn't working by any means, so I don't think it's really any of the patch changes that are necessarily screwing them over here.
It's not working because you didn't pick an initiator. Like, clock is great if you're going for a pickoff or if you're looking to follow up somebody in a fight.
Yeah.
But you need a puck, you need an LC, you need a Slarder or a Nyx. You gotta have something that says we're gonna fight now. And clock just isn't it if you're gonna pick Poison Nova and Requiem.
Bottom lane. There's Clockwork going in with the cuts. Again, Shadow Fiend locked down by the Chronosphere, though. Clockwork's like, well, I got a solo kill at least on Arasta. Gonna cost him his life, though.
Arasta's going Ags. We're in, boys.
Oh, jeez. Really having fun with it. Nice flame break pushback, and easy kill on a Clockwork in the long run right there. Yeah, now we're seeing these fun items come out. The Mjolnir in full finished on Faceless. That BKB, did he finish that? He did, but he hasn't even gotten off yet. On Shadow Fiend, that is. He did pick that up, but again, that's where that item is like, is it even really that good for him as Venno gets picked off over here? Because Chronosphere is just completely, take out the idea of it if he can even get it off in time. And even if he does, he still could take the Sunstrike as well as that beating to the face of Faceless.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not like totally damning clutch for the draft here. I got what they were going for, right? You win the Bristlecottle lane, your Venno handles himself fine if Clockwork roam, and then you try to utilize the roaming Clockwork to win every lane, but the problem was you just had zero comeback mechanism. When you hemorrhage a couple kills in the beginning, then there just was nothing for you to do.
Oh, and that's how he has to use his BKB, is just very defensive, running away. So with that on cooldown now for 70 seconds, Newbee is looking to take the fight and force the issue here. So Armel and the rest of his team just going to keep their distance, and they're still hanging in here. 18,000 net worth lead though, just a hair over that in favor of Newbee. It's just been 100% Newbee if you are just tuning in a little bit later on this one. I know the initial series EG versus OG did finish. It sounds like EG actually did win over OG there.
It's fast.
A fast one, and this still potentially could be a fast one. We're only 24 minutes in, but it honestly could have been over already. It's safe to say. It's just a matter of clutch and how long they want to stay in this here.
Now, to be fair, high ground's pretty hard to break on this side unless your Rasta Lord's around. That's your easiest way to hit buildings. Without it, you're getting spammed by Illuminates and Raises and Quills. There's just a lot to hold you off the high ground. So I totally respect Newbee taking this slower and making sure they're in the position they want to be.
One thing I did notice, too, on the idea of the patch notes, is he going? No. Just time dilation is, I'm surprised he didn't use the time dilation right there.
Yeah.
Lockout, the Quills. Yeah,
that's something we haven't talked about. It's such a good skill, this game. I mean, you've got Plague Wards that are going to be constantly spammed, Quills, you've got Goo. It's just great.
Yeah, no, Faceless is just kind of almost like a counter, really, across the board against Bristle. The Chronosphere locks him so you can easily get the front of him, and then the time dilation, as we just mentioned.
In a perfect world, you'd get the Lotus and then just deal with it, but because you can purge it with it, but he's not getting there anytime soon.
So I was going to mention, though, Clockwork did actually get hit pretty hard also in this patch, I feel like. His base damage as well as the mana cost was increased of Battery Assault to 100 instead of 75. So Lasso initiation, though, on Venomancer. Chronosphere is going to catch two. Bristleback included in that. Venno, he's going to die for sure. Bristle may survive, but takes a lot of damage in the process. Finally gets his back turn as it wears off. Clockwork goes in. Nice cogs on two. But the Supernova is activated, and that egg ain't dying. You just need to run, baby. Boombox, he can't run, unfortunately. He will fall to it. A triple kill coming out for Kaka. Playing the Phoenix, and they're going cutthroat now. They're looking to push into Tier 3 here.
Why not? Got wards up. Won a big fight.
That Coddle just going to keep them occupied at least. Shadow Fiend's like, all right, screw it. Let's just try something. Requiem, go. Right on top of him, actually. This might kill him. Yep. Double raise land, so he gets the free kill on SCCC, but
1,500 gold for SCCC there.
Wow, you're right. All right, Shadow Fiend got some farm. Silver Edge coming.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
He actually turned that entire team fight into break-even, basically. They lost 4 for the Invoker, and it was almost a dead-even gold trade.
Wow.
I can just tell you the spot that this game is in.
Definitely does. I mean, that's that's gonna keep clutch gamers in it, if anything. Whether for better or for worse. Fly Solo doesn't like it. That's another death for him.
Dude, what does he build though? Hey, that's the reoccurring issue here. You can't just like go blink BKB Requiem, or you do no damage after it.
He has a mom queued up.
I mean, that's probably the highest damage output item you could buy for 2,000 gold.
That's true. If you're behind in farm, I guess.
Yeah, when you're down this much, that's how you gotta think. We only have this many resources. Let's dump them into as much damage as we can.
Yeah, it's...
By the way, for anyone watching, it is the 4th of July here in America. There will be fireworks going on outside. Hopefully they are not too obnoxious.
I can't even hear them here myself, so I think we are good on that end.
I wore my Team Freedom jersey today.
Everyone's America today.
Yeah, I had to wear that big red, white, and blue Freedom jersey. Oh, it's great.
I'm wearing a tank top. You know, I got a Coors Light in one hand. I have a Bald Eagle that I rented in the other room here, so, you know, I'm ready to go. I got my pickup truck outside. Shotgunning beers all day.
Basically describing my afternoon.
Shadowfiend. He wish he was chugging beers right now because he's not liking this game. He's going to be buying back, though. Supernova didn't really do too much right there, at least. Chronosphere is still ready, however, for Faceless. That wasn't even a Chronos needed. That was simply the Bat Rider in the lasso. A lot of Atos coming out, meanwhile, and they're going to catch the Bristleback. Hook shot in. Stall them as long as possible, but Bristle, oh my god, he'll live. But here comes that Chronosphere on 3. And just watch them melt away. All right, Clutch. Throw in the white flag, man. It's over. Oh, they killed Faceless.
Throw in the white flag.
They killed Faceless. That's a bounty there for Finno. They're not going to quit.
1,200. Oh, man. Rasta does have his eggs completed. I was wondering why he wasn't microing his wards, and then I saw 2 shots coming out of each of them. So, it's pretty cool what it does. Oh, man, they're still going.
Well, I do see, again, I've always loved the hero, but I am seeing, especially from this game alone, that why Rasta is getting this priority, and kind of as we were talking about in the draft, though. And this hero, when he gets that snowball going, I mean, again, his biggest issue is the mana cost, really, if all of his abilities kind of combined. But if you kind of get that 4-position farm almost, then that doesn't matter.
And when the game is too fast, when everybody's picking hard roaming 4s that are going to just be crushing the mid lane, he struggles because he has to be moving around so much. He's not pulling or getting gold or anything like that. But yeah, if you get him that early game where he's getting the kills on the roams, he's just nuts.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd almost liken him to like the Clockwork though, right? If Clock doesn't do anything in the early game, it can just feel super underwhelming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of heroes like that. And we're seeing the meta slow down just a little bit as far as pressure and roaming, which is bringing heroes like this to light. I was hoping Complexity would bust out their 4-roll Leshrac again, because I think that'd be really good in this meta.
Bat Rider. You know, Clutch just, they're obviously kind of in this overtime phase of, I would assume maybe just kind of talking it over and figuring out where things were, but again, it's to still be hanging into this game and playing it out. Like, as a spectator, it's okay. You know, it's fine. We're having some fun, you know, watching this final fight here. But this can't be helping their psyche. They're going to get another Chronosphere here. And, okay, the GGs are coming out here. It is a disaster indeed, Gabby. And it's a pause. let's just finish it on a pause.
When it's set as a tournament game, when someone disconnects, it auto pauses.
Yeah, I saw that there.
Yep.
All right, so maybe a little bit of a sign of that frustration indeed. But Newbee took care of business here. I mean, we are talking about one of the 6 invited teams in Newbee, so not surprised on their performance, but a little underwhelmed by Clutch in their kickoff match here, to be fair. But again, the draft was an issue.
Honestly, if you wanted a preview of how I think South America versus everybody else at TI is going to go, this is it. Like,
ouch.
They look great against their own region, but when these teams, and Southeast Asia is a great one here as well. TNC is the only one that's really had a ton of face time against a lot of these top international teams. So this is what I'm afraid we might see out of a lot of these regions that are coming to TI for the first time, or these big internationals for the first time.
Yeah. Well, again, they have at least a month here, just over a month to prepare for that. But right now, Clutch Gamers, they're going to be 0-1. Newbee, on the other hand, 1-0 in a very dominating fashion, really advancing forward. So again, it is group stages. Every team plays each other the round-robin format here, just simply in best-of-1s. And then everyone also makes it onto the playoffs, to also clarify that, just where you go in the double elimination format. So our next match here on this stream, let me double-check. It will be IG versus Vici. IG, Invictus Gaming versus Vici Gaming here. Going to be happening. Another invite team in IG who has been looking very good, arguably the top team out of China right now, going up against Vici Gaming, of course. A team where we were even talking about this a little bit in the pregame. They are playing with 2 different players. Schwan and Hao are not playing today. I don't know if it's official or if it's just for this event, but they are replaced for this event at least by End and FY. themselves. So a little bit different roster for Vici there, but again, another team that came just short as far as qualifying for the TI event. But Z-Rock, we're going to go on a short break right here.
Alrighty.
6-0-26 on Batrider, by the way.
And Rasta had the most building damage.
That he did. Jesus. All right, guys, we are going to go on a short break, get into this next lobby here, and get things going ASAP. I'm Bricky CBK, joined by Z-Rock. You're tuning into our MDL coverage here on our secondary stream. Stay tuned, guys. Vici versus IG coming up next.